All right, guys, let me just exit. Oh my gosh. Okay, I feel like you guys should be able to hear me now, and there should be like no bad noise coming through. Okay. Sorry, guys, about that. You know, the life, the struggles. I try to save you guys, me like struggling to get it together on a Friday night after I worked all day. Like, at least you guys didn't have to hear me swearing or, none of that. So that's good. All right, Kelly. We're up and going 13 minutes later, but we're here and we are talking Real Housewives. What do you guys want to talk? Do you want to talk about Miami? Do you want to talk about, there's still been a lot that's come out about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City since earlier. So what do you guys want to talk about? Go ahead and put it in the comments. I know we were going to talk about Miami because it was a really good episode and I just feel like people are sleeping on Miami. They're just not watching like they usually do, and I'm not quite sure why. David Yontef was featured in the episode. Like, his podcast essentially stirred up some trouble amongst the ladies in Miami, and who he interviewed, her name was Anna. She was a housewife for one season, but she was very much ahead of her time. She was an entrepreneur, and I don't know if she just wasn't a good I'm not sure what the problem was, but she only did one season. But she did an interview with David Yontef, her and her daughter, a couple of months ago. Some of it I won't repeat because I'm not making enemies with Marisol or Alexia. She said things like the lady should be holding like a pound of sugar instead of whatever it is that they hold now. Um, Alluding to Alexia's ex, who allegedly was considered like the sugar cowboy. Like, I don't want to get demonetized, but you guys know what I'm saying. Like the skiing cowboy, and he did prison time for it. And then allegedly he went, and there was a whole documentary like on the E channel or something. And then he allegedly went back to the prison over some underage. We're not really sure of the details, to be honest, and I don't really want to bring it up if I don't know all of the details. So I'll leave that where that's at. And then they called Marisol like it was not nice. And I have to think that the ladies probably had to have parts of the podcast sent to them. Everyone sends clips of a podcast to each other if it's about them or someone saying something. Kelly said, I heard it's a possibility that Miami might not be returning. So here's the thing. It's frustrating because Miami did really good when it was on Peacock. And moving it to, some people said that because it was a lot of Latino women on the cast of Miami, they felt some type of way about it being the only Housewives franchise to be on Peacock. And so they moved it to Bravo, but they put in a really shitty time slot, guys. They seriously, they put it right after Beverly Hills. Like, you have all these nights out of the weekend, you're going to put it at a 10 o'clock at night. Isn't it like 10 o'clock at night? That's too late for people. And you shouldn't do it on the same. I think they're kind of sabotaging it, to be honest with you. I don't know what it is about Miami. I think they have a great cast. I think there's so much potential there. There is a lot of money. There's a lot of Bentleys, beautiful homes. Like, they are probably they're more elevated than Potomac women. They're more elevated than New Jersey women. They're more elevated than New York women. They're probably even more elevated than Salt Lake City women, I would say. Like, I mean, they're living in like a very expensive, they're to yachts and parties, and even look at the way that Dr. Nicole Martin and her husband live. Like, they sold their house to Jeff Bezos' mother. Okay, they sold their house to Jeff Bezos' mother. She is an anesthesiologist, and the difference between an anesthesiologist and what did the lady from Beverly Hills call herself? The new lady, Anna Marie. She called herself a anesthesiologist nurse. Something that didn't really exist. You know what I'm saying? She's a nurse, but she was trying to make it sound like she was like an anesthesiologist nurse, but there's no such thing. So it was a little confusing for people. And I also heard that she's giving backlash to Dr. Nicole Martin for her comments about Anne Marie's comments about Sutton and her esophagus, and how her comments were highly inappropriate. And as a medical provider, any provider that follows HIPAA rules and regulations and just has a good, heart, doesn't have a full blown conversation about someone and how they should be getting some sort of treatment done, and basically de-escalating her health issues, because she doesn't know if there's additional issues than just the esophagus. And just because you're an expert in the esophagus and you're a nurse, you say that you're a nurse, but then you say you're like an anesthesiologist nurse. Well, that doesn't really exist. That's like saying, that's like saying, like, I'm an intake nurse, or I am a OBGYN nurse, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seems just like made it seem like she was a doctor. To me, it seemed like she tried to give the illusion that she was a doctor, but she said nurse in her confessional. I mean, Kelly said Alexia and Bessie, and I personally do not care for either of them. Too catty. Miami and Atlanta get the short end of the stick. They always do. I get disappointed. I get frustrated even talking about it. Why? I don't know, because there's so much. Even Miami, even Atlanta, there's so much potential there, and they just screw it up. I mean, it's like, who was the girl they brought on with Bolo? There was a girl they brought on with Drew Sador. Her name was like, I can't remember her name, but she was a famous, like, YouTuber, very famous. Like, she was making, a lot of money. Her and her husband, but they were getting a divorce. And she was like great TV, and they were only paying her like $1,000 an episode. And they booted her and made Drew and her husband full time. And we saw how that worked out. So sometimes I wonder, do you think that Andy Cohen is sabotaging the franchises that he doesn't like, that he doesn't maybe executive produce on? Like, is he in the same position in every single franchise? Does he have a bigger piece of the pie in Beverly Hills or OC or some of the earlier franchises? I mean, possibly. There was a lot of gossip that he didn't want the Real Housewives of New York to also reboot. But of course he has to save face. He wants it to look successful, but we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. And we do know that the Real Housewives of Atlanta had to pay for their own, I don't even know what intro photo, if you want, their own press photo for, it wasn't last season, it was the season before that. I think it was like the first season Sheree came back. It was Marlo's first season. They actually had to pay for their own promo photos. Like, where are we at, Bravo? How is this happening with this franchise? And you got Candy Burrows on the franchise, and you have this alleged drama between Candy and the attorney. you guys know who I'm talking about, Miss Phaedra, right? Miss Phaedra is on Married to Medicine now, and I am hip to, I think, what Phaedra Parks has really been doing. She's been telling people that Candy doesn't want her on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like, that Candy threatens producers and execs that she'll quit if they bring Phaedra back onto Real Housewives of Atlanta. So instead, they tried her in Dubai. I don't know what happened there. Now they got her Married to Medicine. Well, allegedly, according to Miss Dr. Heavenly, who was, Dr. Heavenly and Carlos King, I think they go live like every Sunday night. If you are sleeping on Dr. Heavenly's lives, you have to get in. I mean, like, she really breaks the fourth wall and lets you guys know what's going on. So anyways, she said that Phaedra was asked, they asked her about Apollo. They asked her about the illegal activity. They asked her questions about what's been going on with her life and how has it been since Apollo got out, because Apollo got out and he got married, and he got married to a girl that was writing him in the priz. And when they got out, they got married and they sold their photos to TMZ, and I would show them to you, but then I would probably be like kicked off YouTube for being like the worst person in the world. They sold their photos to YouTube or to TMZ, and then I don't know if they were going to get some sort of side deal, some sort of sideshow, but it kind of looked like that by the way they were posting. And she was actually looking for, oh, Marjorie is going to tell us, a nurse anesthetist, CRNA is a job career. Okay, it is an RN with an advanced training, thus becoming a certified registered nurse. Got you. I'm scared to say that word because I don't know why I can't. I can only say like anesthesiologist, anesthetist. I mean, anything with anesthesia, like, I'm really nice to my anesthesiologist. Like, when they say, do you want to meet your anesthesiologist? Like, when I had my baby, I was like, yes, please, I do. I really do. And he was like this white privileged man in his like 40s, and I was like, all right, well, just wanted to meet you face to face, so like, just wanted you to like have some kind of connection with me so that you just are a little bit maybe more cautious while you're in there doing whatever it is you're going to do to my spine. And I promise not to move or sneeze or cough. It's going to be great. Yo-Yo says she administers patients pain medication for surgery. A nurse anesthetist. So like maybe something like when you have a colonoscopy and you go in for an inpatient procedure where you're just put to sleep briefly, for, you're not given like, you're not being knocked out for like a major surgery. You're probably done right there in the office. She did a podcast though recently. She didn't look like the same person. I mean, she did not look like the same person. I don't know how I feel about Anne-Marie. I just don't know how. One, I tell you guys all the time, I don't like that she wore the dress that Erica had worn like 3 seasons earlier, and she wore it to her first night of filming. That doesn't sit right with me for some reason. It just does not sit right with me. And then, did you guys hear about Crystal Minkoff? How she's coming? She owns this coconut water business. Did you guys know this? Okay, well, she owns this coconut water business, and she alleges that she is like number 2 in the world. And the coconut company, she said they have like 40 farms, and that they don't buy the farms, they just buy the farms products because they want to keep the farms within the families. And she said they also white label coconut water, and all of their water is recycled. I was like, wow, that sounds great. Recycled water. But yeah, a lot of people on Twitter, well, not a lot of people, there was a specific account, and they were kind of debunking Crystal's claims about her success with the water company and what number she really fell in the big scheme of things. Because I think it was like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and like Nestle or something that had the first 3 biggest coconut water sales or whatever you want to say. I know, Yo-Yo, not the corpse. Like, oh my gosh. Kelly said, I think that's awesome. They keep in the families. I do too, if that's the case. Um, I hope so too. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Crystal. Uh, I just don't know how I feel about her and her husband. Um, I've always kind of said that even on the podcast, he's not been like my super favorite person to, you know, watch. He was like producer on The Lion King, and there was like a lot of, they say, like innuendos and like things that were hidden inside The Lion King. I don't know. He kind of, doesn't he give you like a little bit of a weird vibe? A little bit. He's like 25 years older than she is. He kind of looks like that guy from Mary Poppins. I don't know. I'm like, girl, do you not know how pretty you are? Like, I almost feel like I hate to say this, I'm not trying to be mean, but like, did she settle with him because she was insecure or something? Like, she has the ED going on, but she's like so pretty. And I think that she is somebody else like Jackie that needs a stylist just because she doesn't know the ins and outs of the industry. She doesn't know camera to camera what looks good, what looks bad, what angle, what colors. And sometimes it just helps to have somebody else tell you, yes, this looks good. This is what you should wear, because she wears a lot of baby doll dresses, which is kind of not really sure where that's coming from. Kelly says, so if Crystal is applying to these number 1 and 2 companies, then she is, there's something about Crystal, like there's more than that they don't show. I know they don't seem like a couple either. They don't really seem like a couple. Kelly says there's always hidden symbolism. I know. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just don't really dig him. I can't help it. I almost get just a really weird vibe from him. And like the way the other husbands don't get a weird vibe from him. And like, I remember when they were hanging out, I think it was like at Diana Jenkins' Christmas party, they were just like, it was Harry Hamlin, Harry, Harry, Harry. Oh, and Harry, you know Harry. You guys know about Harry, don't you? Do you want to talk about the husbands? Here's a little bit of tea though for you guys. They allegedly, this land that Harry Hamlin's family left him in Canada is like family land that's been passed from 5 generations in his family, and it's on like pretty exclusive but desirable land. It's like an island almost in Canada. And someone had sent me basically anonymously that they have been breaking off plots. Harry Hamlin allegedly has been plotting off some of his property and selling off some of those plots. Like basically, like if you have 100 acres, maybe he'll take like 20 and make like 3 plots next to each other and then sell those. But if you have property that's been passed from 5 generations, like you would probably just and you were rich and you were famous and you didn't need the money, then you would probably just sit on it and leave it for your children. Kelly says he's broke. I agree. I think that Harry and Lisa made an arrangement that like he was going to make the money in the younger years and she was going to be responsible for the latter years of their life, and that he was going to go up to Canada and live his best life, and that if she wants to live in Hollywood and live the dream, she's going to have to pay for it and keep up with it. And she's trying. She wore a terrible black wig to, I think it was like Good Morning America. I mean, other than she looked strange. I don't know if it was her makeup because she had such dark hair and her eyebrows and eyelashes didn't match. And they were like, are you happy to be off the Housewives? She was like, absolutely. I'm so thankful to be off the Housewives. So thankful to be off the Housewives. And I'm like, I feel like she is playing like cat and mouse with Bravo. She's the kind of one, she would never come out and be like, I hope Bravo brings me back next season. Like, I really could use the money. Yeah, she's gonna play hardball. That's just her style. Did you guys see this the naked selfie she posted of herself? My God, I'm like, Lisa, like, there's not a lot of womanly like curves to her, or um like the curves of like a woman's body, like she's so fit and so slender that her body, it doesn't have like the softness, I guess, of like a woman, what you would want, a woman's body would have. Kelly says, "Oh, hey, Alan." Kelly says, "I say this marriage is a business decision between, yeah, Rena and Hamlin. Absolutely. Um, I think Harry's been doing his own thing for a long time. I'm not really sure what Rena does because we don't hear about her much hooking up with men or women. Um, but I do think with that guy that came forward that said he had hooked up with a Beverly Hills housewife and her friend who turned out to be a housewife, I often wonder about Diana Jenkins and Lisa. I don't know why, I just do. Is there any topics that you guys want specifically to talk about? I know that again, there's been a lot that's been exposed, if you will, about Eric, or not about Eric, I'm sorry, about Monica from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So a lot of people want to talk about that, I'm sure. Um, a lot of people, they're just kind of breaking down. Did Heather come up with this herself? Did she really figure this all out herself? You know, it says actually took down Jen. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Philly Diva, I love Philly Diva. You guys know I love her. Um, she said, "Am I understanding this right? Heather is ride or die for Jen, who's a criminal. Literally, no one asked you to do that. She's best friends with the main reality Von T's account owner, which would actually be the hairdresser, Tanisha. Um, then it is preachy and thirsty. So that's under Heather. And then they have under Monica actually took down Jen like a boss, exposed her on SM and called the FBI on her for F's sake. I don't know if that's true. I don't think she called. I think the FBI had like long been looking for her. Contributed to the couple's videos of Jen to Tanisha's gossip account and is surprisingly transparent and owns up to what she does. So this Tanisha hairdresser, it's been shown that she basically saved lots of conversations between her and Monica and like voice messages, and Monica and the mom are on a whole nother level. I couldn't finish watching the leaked video. I know it was very rough. I felt bad for the mom because I think nobody wants to be like videoed and not know that you're being videoed and then have it put on national television. And the mom responded. Did you guys know the mom responded on Twitter? First of all, Monica apologized and said that she had sent that to her best friend and that she never intended for it to get leaked. So, okay, if you say so. And then the mother, she basically posted this am I on Twitter or X? What am I supposed to log into? I can't stand this. Like, is it Twitter? Is it X? Is it Twitter? Is it X? Twitter official site. I mean, my goodness. X comes up. Okay, let me log in over here. Anyway, it's a conversation between, it's like weird because it's not on iMessages. It's like on some sort of, maybe it's like a family app. I'm not sure. And it's basically Monica asking, well, not asking, but pretty much asking, but telling her mom that she wants her mom to be on the show. And her mom's saying, like, I really have no interest in being on reality TV. She's like, I'm not selling my soul for you, Monica. Like, I love you and I want to support you, but I'm not selling my soul for you. Which I kind of thought was funny, a little bit funny. But the conversation, like, it looked like an app. I'm not sure if it was like an app, like sometimes like children's services, they have like those family apps where everybody can like communicate together, and I don't think they can like erase anything, or I don't know. I believe she tipped the feds off like Caroline did Teresa, but the feds were already watching. Exactly. She inserted herself into a federal investigation with 4 children. Monica's middle name should be Leak or Finsta. She's like Margaret Joseph of Salt Lake City. I know she, like, in one of the videos, she's laughing. And some people are saying she was like stalking them to get the address to get on the show. But I don't think that's the case. I think she was literally stalking Jen Shah because that was like the time of her trial and she was moving out of her house. And Monica was trying to get footage of that for their website. Don't forget Jen sent a cease and desist back in 2021 and 2022. So obviously she knew who was behind it. And I keep saying, where is the designer in all of this? Because truly the beef started between the designer and Jen. I mean, anyone else? Alan said, I think her mom wants to heal their relationship, but Monica doesn't want to, and she used the show to get back at her mom. Yeah, she probably just didn't really care about her mom's feelings. She tried to say like, it's, we come on the show because we want to, let's show people, let's, show everyone like our Puerto Rican family. That's what it's about. And Candace Dillard Bassett's on Twitter tonight. If any of you guys care, my. She goes back and forth with Vanessa Sawyer. Do you guys want to hear it really quickly? Real Housewives of Potomac. Candace. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, I don't know why Queens of Bravo said not pay your bills. Candace, the Queen of Potomac. Candace says, I have black friends is peak comedy, LOL. Vanessa Sawyer says, girl, hush before we call Monique. You always crying and in somebody's damn business. Candace replies, you, in all capital letters, you hush before I call the repo man to get that car you haven't paid on in 6 months. Shut up. Vanessa Sawyer says, that mouth is the reason you got your ass whooped. And Candace says, pay your bills. Lord, I'm going to retweet that. Because damn, I'm surprised that, why would Queens of Bravo, they don't like that? I mean, does Queens of Bravo not like Candace? That seems a little weird, right? I don't know. I just feel like that seems just a little bit weird to me. But yeah, Monica was actually literally trending last night. I was gonna go online and talk to you guys about it. She's also replying to Reality Blurb posting. They reposted Sonya's Townhouse, which is an account on Twitter, X, if you will. It's like a Sonya, it's a gossip site. And it said, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Monica Garcia is set to appear on Bethany Frankel's podcast, Just Be, this upcoming Wednesday. I wonder what new info we will get. The only reason I definitely don't think this is true is because we haven't gotten the reunion yet. So we cannot think that Bravo is like, oh yeah, Monica, go on this podcast with Bethany, our best friend over here. We love Bethany so much. Go do an interview with her. Like, yeah, girl, yes. Monica, and this was Reality Blurb, and I like Reality Blurb. They are my favorite. I love them. They featured the messages between Margaret Josephs and myself, so I love Reality Blurb. But I think that this is a little bit of a miss for Sonya's Townhouse because, they post good info. Anyways, Monica says, man, you guys are really trying hard. Y'all really big mad out here. Number one, I never have been asked to be on a podcast. I'm like, do you want me to ask you? Oh, I can ask y'all. You guys should all DM her and be like, the Housewife Historian's gonna be DMing you, Monica, and asking you to come on since you've never been asked on a podcast. She wants to have you on our YouTube channel and podcast. Right, guys? I mean, we just have some questions. Anyways, she said, 2, I wouldn't do it even if I was asked. Oh, okay, all right. 3, this, along with so many other things being said about me on this smear campaign happening right now, are false. And number 4, you guys got my post taken down. Thanks a lot. I wonder what her post was that got taken down. I mean, yeah, go do an interview with Bethany. We love her so much. Come on, guys. Also, I still want to go back to Miami because we keep getting sidetracked, but I want to see if I can find for you guys. I don't want my video to get taken down because I've been getting my stuff reported as well, habitually again. So that's fine. I'm not upset about it. But oh, we have Lisa Barlow entering the chat. Okay, Big Wig Hello Drama posted, please, what does this mean? Is Monica out? It says, Yodel King posted, without Monica, there wouldn't have been no season 4. Oh, Lisa Barlow says, season 5 will be the best ever. Yodel King says, without Monica, there would have been no season 4. And Lisa says, when you play all of your cards, you're out. Ooh, okay. Now I like Lisa. I feel like I could stand Lisa. I could a little bit. I think if she was more down, I feel like to earth this year than ever. Special happy birthday to Heather Dubrow, by the way. Love her. I think she's like turning 25. So we should all wish her happy 25th birthday. I'm sure she would love that so much. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You guys, you know there were rumors about Anne Marie's husband, the one on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And that's why there was like some rumors that he might not come on that she might not come on the show. But Bravo was like, look, we're not hiring him. We're hiring her. Do you guys remember any of this? Okay, well. Oh no. Okay. Everything is alleged. This is coming from Brightly, who she posts a lot of good stuff. I'm not sure who it is. This is an article from somewhere, and it says Anne Marie Wiley's husband is an alleged R in response to Jane Doe's lawsuit against him, which purports he R'd the victim in '94 while at Columbia University. The newest Beverly Hills housewife posted a pathetic thirst trap on Instagram, simultaneously calling the victim a liar in her caption. This woman has to go. She's propping up her R husband and using her platform to spread lies about the trans community. I'm not aware of it. She also full of internal misogyny and is close friends with Candace Owens of all people. It's rich that she says she's for truth only because she openly gives into lies about the trans community, which can be easily refuted by science. Someone in the medical field holding an anti-scientific views is alarming as FU. She's a production plant as well. She was never organically friends with any of the cast, and apparently her anti-T views get put on blast by Sutton and Crystal. The only news I want to hear about this woman is when she's fired once and for all. Wow, guys. Wow. I had heard stuff about her husband, but that wasn't what I had heard about him. Now, Anne Marie posts a photo of herself in like a bikini, her hair's in dreads, and she says, when your real life is the definition of honorable and upstanding, all they can do is fabricate lies. Here's for love, truth, and joy only. Okay, back to my vacation. Wow. Here's the thing, guys. It's very difficult for anyone that is a victim of SA to see their perpetrator on a reality show, a TV show. Trust me, there's lots and lots of victims out there. And victims of the men that we watch on Bravo. And it's difficult for them, especially at first, to see someone who's harmed them, not see any sort of repercussions on top of almost sort of like, you would see something like this as a blessing, like that she's on the show and she's getting paid and they're on vacation. And, if there's someone still dealing with this back from 94, I'm sure if you were a victim from 1994, you can't say one way or the other. So it's just sounds like this came from Reddit, actually. Let me pull this thread. Okay, wow, we might have a whole thread here. Let's see. Her proudly saying her husband called her an 8.5, like it's not super demeaning. I mean, what did you guys think about her husband calling her an 8.5? Like in everything. She's like not a 10 in anything. She's an 8.5 in everything. Someone said this. I was like, what the F am I watching? This lady is okay with being rated by her husband and bragging about it. And as an 8.5, and then doubling down during the after show, the producer was clearly trying to give her a chance to change perception on how messed up that was. And she was obviously a horrible marriage. I saw that. She didn't learn a thing. She's still laughing at it. Someone else said, this was the second most shocking to me. After her need to say that there were a lot of women going after her husband when they met, but she just won. Just bizarre. That she's probably talking about the women he argued. She seems like, I don't want to read that because that might be triggering. I may be reading too many into it, but she also emphasized that he always treated her like a gentleman, which sounded like a nod to the accusations. I didn't pick that up, but that is very interesting. I didn't hear her say that, but that does sound like a nod. Someone else said, I don't think you're reading into it. When I watched the scene, I immediately thought the same thing. The whole confessional was icky, and I just fast forward through the rest. Someone else said, yeah, her whole point was she is wifey material, so he treated her with respect. The others weren't wifey material, so if he was in a different way with them, that's why. Now that they're saying that, that does make sense. Did you guys? She was kind of saying that, like, I was wifey material. Let me finish reading the comment. Her whole point was she is wifey material, so he treated her with respect, alluding the other women weren't wifey material, so it was different the way that they were treated, and that's why. And I feel sorry for her, actually. She is working overtime to try and keep this facade of a happy life, and he doesn't look like he's trying at all. He's no prize, but she acts like he is. Yeah. Let's see. She tried to walk back on after the after show that he really called her a 9.5 body and a 9 in looks, but she averaged 8.5, but she liked it. Like, on what planet could a person consider that a compliment? Your partner should be a 10 to you in all capacities. You're not rating them in the vacuum in comparison to all of society. Then to break it down to give ratings on body versus looks, yuck. It's ultimately saying you are good, but I could always do better. Someone else said, right, my husband tells me I'm a 10 on my worst day. Aw, my jaw hit the floor. She uttered that mess. Someone said, they said when she's a 2.5. Maybe he married her because she's dumb enough to believe his lies and not because she's consistently slightly above average. I can't imagine saying that to my partner like it's a good thing and then having my partner repeat it to the world like they actually believe it's a good thing. So embarrassing. Someone else says, it kind of sounds like one of those couple inside jokes that's funny between the two of you, but makes no sense when you try to explain it to other people. I've been there. Telling what I think is a funny anecdote, and I'm telling it, I'm like, this is not coming out right. But I agree. It was cringe to watch. Someone else said, I was shocked. I mean, yeah, I think so. And then she said, quote, my body's a 10 though. I was like, oh, honey, he thinks of you as butterface. Like, it isn't a compliment. You think it is. Do you guys remember what a butterface was? Like, everything was pretty about her butterface. That's old school. John Mellencamp's son-in-law's wife is who referred her. John Mellencamp's son-in-law's wife. Son-in-law's wife would be his daughter, right? is who referred her. That's telling for sure because they're both so hated. I mean, right? If the comment is John Mellencamp's son-in-law's wife who is referred her, who referred her. That's telling for sure because they're both so hated. Why are we talking recommendations from a fired, disliked housewife? They basically brought Kelly Dodd to Beverly Hills. Like, why? Oh, they're saying, like, why are you taking referrals from one of the most hated housewives? Like, why would you take referrals from Teddi Mellencamp? Like, she's one of the most hated housewives. Why would you take a referral from her? Great point. I mean, wasn't Crystal kind of I mean, Crystal allegedly was friends with Kathy, but we never really believed that. I think that she was friends with Teddi Mellencamp and like the 14 friends that were part of that whole fiasco. When they all fell out, I think Teddi Mellencamp was part of that too. At some point, we're going to have to reckon with the family and the family that Kyle has. There's no way she isn't sharing views with these people. She's done a good job of hiding who she is for a long time, but you don't invite this many trash people into your life if you have any actual values or principles that differ from theirs. Like, who is Kyle? That's smart. I'm going to ponder on that. You are the company you keep. I mean, that birds of a feather flock together. Let's see. I mean, they tried with Sheree and she immediately sucked up to the stupid FF5. Sheree Zampino? That must have been who they were talking about. Let's see here. Okay, this says he didn't R one woman. He has multiple victims. Bang, bang, bang. Is there an American lady in here? This says she became active in Colombia's chapter of Take Back the Night, an organization aimed at ending SA and domestic V, where she met other women who also shared their stories of R at Wiley's hands, both before and after her own assault. That's why the person saying bang, bang, bang is anyone here. One of the victims became active in Colombia's chapter of Take Back the Night. It was an organization aimed at ending SA and DV. And she met other women who also shared harrowing stories of R at Wiley's hands, which is the husband, both before and after her own assault. That's so terrible. Exactly, because he was a footballer, and one of his victims who reported him said they discredited her because she was from Africa, and they said she didn't really know what she was talking about. What I read about the whole thing doesn't really leave me thinking it's possible he's innocent. He sounds pretty damn guilty, and she's disgusting, not only for being with this pile of SHIT, but acting like a pile of SHIT herself. No, we absolutely do not need this person on our screens. Get her the F out of here. They basically admit to it all in his defense. It's like they're not denying it happening, but whether it was R. And they're saying that she didn't understand because she's not American. It's disgusting. Get him off TV. I stopped watching NFL because the pieces of SHIT like him. And I will quit this franchise too if she gets a second season. Dude, who's picking these people for Beverly Hills? Like, my God. Diana Jenkins, we've known about her trafficking. I don't even know if I'm honest. I actually can't even probably say that I'm going to be demonetized for that, but we've known about that for like a long time. This says most R's are multiple women, and she made the post on. Okay, so it sounds like Anne Marie made the post on Instagram 24 hours after the allegations came out. If you're just joining, make sure that you guys hit that like button. And make sure that you guys follow, subscribe. I bring all of my tea through this channel first before I put it anywhere else. Make sure that you guys comment, ask questions, join the conversation. We don't all have to have the same opinion. We just have to relay it respectfully. They could barely understand her speech. She said she still had to attend the class with this creep. Oh my Lord Jesus. So and again, if she is supporting him, if Anne Marie made this post of her being on vacation 24 hours within 24 hours after allegations came out, back to her vacay. It's honestly disgusting that she was cast with this information out there, and her husband gets a platform being a family man to potential jurors, and it rubbed it in the faces of victims, just like I said. Gross. Bravo effed up and should give her a cherry pie edit. Did they think we would like her? Or did they really just need a new villain? I put the S at the end of victim in the title because currently there's one woman who's come forward according to the news, but I was not in the mood to fight with anyone in the comments who would take that as a way to skirt around the issue. I totally agree with you. So it sounds like there's more than one. This says she's been on about 2 episodes and I'm already eager for Sutton and Garcelle to take her down. Granted, I've heard she was awful before the season started, but airing, I don't think I even just liked Diana this quickly. I know, that's true. At least Diana had potential because she was super rich with her boy toy husband. I don't know. This is crazy, you guys. If this is true, like, what is Bravo doing? Like, they kind of said they knew this about him, and Bravo said, like, we're not casting husbands, we're casting wives. But they said that when it was like accusations of him being racist, not SA, because he also has rumors of being, saying I'm guessing against the LGBTQ community. That would be my guess. So, guys, when I say go over to Reddit, I'm telling you guys, sometimes Reddit has some of the best, and people post receipts. Like, this, along with Kyle's complete refusal to discuss anything or even politely decline to answer any questions, is 100% the nail in the coffin for me. And the comment before it was, let's not leave Dorito and PK and Kyle and Mauricio out of this either. They all know the allegations and they are still propping them up on the show and hanging out. And I completely agree with that. I do, because they are. It's like Kyle and Mauricio, they will go, they just go along with the flow. I don't know. Like, it just feels that way. As far as Kyle's ass as she is, she was referred by John Mellencamp's ex-wife's daughter. She was referred by John Mellencamp's ex-wife's daughter. She called her good people at BravoCon, and she also thinks Candace Owens is good people, as well as Matt Walsh. So John's granddaughter's mom kind of fits right in. Okay, John's granddaughter's mom. Let John Mellencamp's ex-wife's daughter. So that would be a half sibling to Teddy. Referred her to the show. So that's nice. In addition, to add insult to injury, the target of her and her husband's anti-T attacks were at Dwayne Wade's child. And Bravo, she says, Bravo, it's time to take out the trash. I didn't know that. Yes, somebody else says, let's see. Kyle and the Hiltons are connected to these efforts big time and use green trees and a fake girl on girl relationship to make them seem liberal for the Bravo audience. Keep our 3 queens and recast the rest. I don't care. Erica wants to play like her act is nice now. I don't care about Kyle's failed / fake happy marriage we knew about preseason. I don't care about how Dorito can't afford blonde hair anymore. I hate the franchise the most, and it refuses to change. We changed NYC and not this ? Bravo sucks something D. And someone said Dorito can't afford blonde hair anymore. That's funny. I mean, there's a little bit of a point to that. I do think that they act a little bit more liberal than they probably are. I mean, look at we don't have to play it, but there's a lot of footage of Paris being saying some very nasty things when she was young. Like, I don't know, 17, 18, 19. And for whatever reason, those didn't circulate like probably Lisa Rinna thought they would, because if you go back to the DM that was released originally when Lisa Rinna and we started to hear these rumors about what happened with Kathy Hilton, she put in the DM to whomever, when it was leaked, it said they get it from their mama. They get it from their mother. They get it from their mama. And I was thinking, Kim, Kathy, and Kyle, like, they get it from Big Kathy. And they're like, no. She's saying, like, if you go back and look at all the past, there are, and Nick, not cool at all. But so do I believe that maybe Kyle and Mauricio, and they're a little bit more reserved? Yeah, I do believe that. I think sometimes they probably, Mauricio's parents didn't even know he had a tattoo, and I understand, the Jewish culture, but still, like, that seems pretty conservative to me. I heard a lot of rumors about his mother and father, and they haven't, like, I don't get into politics, just that they're like conservative people. His mother is, Mauricio's mother's a sex therapist and husband, and I don't really know if the mom and dad are together or not, but I almost like wish that we would have seen more of Mauricio's parents, because they just seems, I don't know, a little interesting to me. I would have maybe liked to have seen Kyle and Mauricio's mom's relationship. Maybe it was much more fun and lighter when Kyle was drinking. I think that the alcohol in certain relationships like that, so it definitely affects the relationship. Kathy is friends with the Trumps. I think Bravo brought her in knowing this because it will guarantee us talking about them, which is what Bravo likes. They do not care. Yeah, I mean, man, I think that, like, again, though, we're bringing race into it, and then, like, it becomes Garcelle, like, getting accused of being, like, Ebony from RHOM. It's just, you know what I mean? So it's like, can we just find something else besides the race to, like, I'm fine with criminal, like, people that end up getting in trouble, like, because they got to pay the money back. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you're like, we can't be having, we have a zero tolerance for racism. We decided that back when I was the #1 Google search when Diana Jenkins called Philly Diva a Black content creator. I was like the first one to start posting about that. So we decided we had a zero tolerance for racism way back then. And Margaret, I think that's why she's still on a lot of people's radar. We dealt with, who did we deal with? What was her name? Ramona. We dealt with her. So we're dealing with them. We're trying, but here's another comment. This one says, I'm so surprised there's not more talk about this. I think she's annoying, out of line, and thirsty, but that's nothing compared to our husband and her defending him. I've read the court allegations, and they're horrifying, and I believe them. I can't wait for his day in court. See, I'm behind. I didn't even know. Did you guys know he was going to court for this? Someone says, as someone who was essayed and has struggled with ED, this woman should not be on television, in my opinion. The ED narrative is super triggering, and seeing an alleged R, potentially serial R, given some of the filling info on my screen sucks. Bravo really missed the mark in this one, and I hope she doesn't get much more airtime this season. And it's just a one season wonder. A platform of this size for people this terrible is simply inexcusable. I completely agree. But I think we got to do better than giving them a season. Like we gave Diana a season. We're gonna hurt. Like, just cut them out. You guys are able to cut Zampino out. You guys who they cut that Lizzie girl out of New York. Like, cut them out. In my opinion. Someone else says, yikes, she raised red flags for me the first scene, and more, I can't stand her. I agree. Someone said, I don't think she's a production plant unless Kyle Richards is getting production credit now. Kyle definitely handpicked this spin doctor to come fight her fight. That's interesting. Bravo said, we're not here for watching an R and his delusional denial spouse on our TV. She can go to the right or the channel will change permanently. And they're saying, say louder, she's got to go. A few people saying, oh my gosh, only 25 people liked this. I actually don't have a problem with her believing her husband in her heart, because that's her spouse and her children's father, and she doesn't know the evidence, so he hasn't had his day in court. Okay, lady. But should we be like giving them a platform while he's awaiting his day in court if he has this many allegations? Like, sorry, I'm reading some comments. I'm scared to hit the comments because of what happened earlier when it was I had both accounts in because I'm on my laptop and my phone. Facebook is all about the R calling. I mean, yeah, we have a zero tolerance for it. So now we're dealing with an essay instead, which someone says, I can't wait for Sutton, Garcelle, and Crystal to rip her new one. Her takedown is going to be so satisfying. I mean, I just don't even think that we're going to show that, because Crystal said that there was a lot of people that she defended Garcelle in the situation with Dorito and that they didn't show it. This is a good read. I'm gonna read this to you guys. Did you talk about Miami? I joined a little bit, Alan, but we'll definitely hop back here. I just want to read this one last thing about Beverly Hills here. This says, it's disheartening to say the least to witness Bravo's latest casting choice in RHOBH. Anna Marie's presence on the show is not a misstep. It's a deep plunge into a pool of controversy and disrepute. Her alignment with figures known for their harmful rhetoric against the LGBT community is not just troubling, but a stark contradiction to the progressive values Bravo has claimed to champion. This person is quite the writer. Moreover, the allegations against her husband add another layer of discomfort. We are a dedicated audience, which is true, and we are not here to witness the normalization of such serious accusations. I love that, because we're not here to do that. Nor are we interested in seeing a platform being given to someone who appears to blatantly disregard the gravity of the issues at hand. It's particularly distressing that in a show celebrated for its glamour, we're now being subjected to viewpoints that are I don't even anti something. This isn't drama we signed up for. It's blatant disregard for the ethical standards we hoped Bravo upheld. I completely agree. On a brighter note, it's heartening to see Sutton and Crystal standing up against such regressive attitudes. Their boldness in confronting Anna Marie's views is commendable and embodies the spirit of what many fans loved about RHOBH. Strong women unafraid to stand up for what's right. In closing, I express my profound disappointment in Bravo, as we all do, honey. It has time the network reevaluates its casting decisions and remembers the core values of its audience. We crave diamonds, not the rough, and certainly not the aggressive and distive elements that Anne Marie represents. Bravo, do better. Yeah, that was so well written. I love that. Let's go back to Miami. Did you guys watch Miami? If so, What do you think of Anna making it? Do you remember Anna from the Real Housewives of Miami? And did you think that Alexia and Marisol should have been so quick to leave this mother's luncheon? Because, you know, it truly was about Gertie, because she has breast cancer. She had breast cancer, and she was I think having surgery like the next day, something along those lines. And it just went to hell. Like Nicole's luncheon went bad from like the second it started. And Alan says, also, anybody here who hasn't watched the old seasons of Miami need to go back and watch. I completely agree. You guys, you're missing, if you're sleeping on Miami, go back and watch a couple of episodes from each season. Will do your heart good. I promise. It's very much worth it. There was a lot going on in the early years, and Larsa was only on one season. So the season that she's on, you won't even believe that it's Larsa. I mean, you really truly will not believe that it is Larsa. She's like, I mean, she's not a nice girl. That's for sure. I feel like Anna was kind of being fake because she had all that stuff to say about them, but wanted to be nice to their face. She should have stood on the stuff she said about everyone that she spoke. Here's the thing. They had to have known that she said those things. There's no way that Alexia and Marisol, right? Because I'm trying to think when they like filmed the podcast and when Anna went on the show. And Anna's daughter was also on the podcast. So I think that like she seems to have a lot of animosity towards Marisol. And I think maybe she was like, you know, they were kind of bouncing off of each other, if you will. That was kind of the feeling that I was getting. Also, Anne-Marie, that's how we got on the subject of Anne-Marie. She is coming after Dr. Nicole Martin, who I loved her because I met her actually in New York City like a year and a half ago. And she was very sweet. She was very nice. She got a picture, and she was just very like down to earth, I felt like. And Anne-Marie is attacking her for saying like, because Nicole said like, you shouldn't be discussing these medical issues of Sutton's esophagus in public like that. Ellen said, I think her daughter should stay in child's place because if anyone spoke negatively of her daughter, it would be an outrage and everyone could say no kids. They said everything Anna said, and Anna also talked about Lisa. Okay, Ellen, I wasn't sure. I didn't. So they did know what she said on the podcast because the episode kept showing David Yontem and Behind the Velvet Rope podcast. Which you guys know that they are a friend of ours, David Yontem, Behind the Velvet Rope. Yeah, definitely a friend of ours. Nicole grew on me, but she can be shady too. She knew they did not care for Anna or vice versa, and she tried to act like she didn't know and then switched it up at dinner. So she said like that Anna was Anthony's like customers, but she was coming with Adriana. Now, I want to tell you guys, Adriana is not full time because Adriana was going to Harvard when they cast for Real Housewives of Miami for the first time when they were on Peacock. She was going to school, Harvard. She's a smart woman. I mean, Adriana speaks like 4 languages. It's not because she's not smart. And that's why she wasn't cast full time. And, you know, it was pretty much her decision. So I'm not sure this year if it's because she's going to school, if they didn't want to bring her on full time. I'm not sure for the reasoning. Alan says that's why Lisa was so surprised at what Anna said to her when she walked in. I do not believe her and Anthony were friends. LOL. She said they were friends, I believe. I thought she said that Anna was clients of Anthony's. But again, she came with Adriana. And again, Julia, who's not going to be able to hold it in. Poor Julia. She knows the whole plot anyways. I do feel like Anna didn't come. She should have came in. I don't know. She should have maybe brought all of them a gift or something. Obviously her and Marisol and Alexia are not going to get along, you know, right off the bat or anytime soon. There seems to be a lot of resentment there. Alexia looked amazing. People are talking and saying Alexia and Todd are having financial issues and that they are having to like break the lease of that nice apartment that we see at the high rise and move. But we haven't really heard, or we heard that they could be selling the apartment, or I'm not sure if they sold it by, I'm not sure what they're doing with that apartment, but those are the allegations, of course. And that Todd's business isn't doing good. I think Todd's in media. I don't know. I don't know a lot about their finances. I bet Alexia probably doesn't even know a lot about their finances. She probably does well with her salon there, right? You know, on the strip in Miami. She's a housewife. She's very well known. She knows everyone in the community. I'm sure she's making very good living off of the salon by itself and what it's bringing in. And then, of course, her ex-husband's home. Maybe he's helping as well. But Todd, I think, probably runs a fairly lucrative business. He's been doing it a long time. Let's see what we can pull up on Miami here. 1 second. I did hear rumors that they were talking about wanting to bring Joanna Krupa back. Do you guys remember Joanna Krupa? She was a model. She was beautiful, and she always said that her husband never wanted to give, well, her fiance, that he never wanted to give her the business enough. And she was interesting. She was very interesting. And I think that she's a mother now and she's married. So I don't think that I think she might be a great addition back. If you guys remember, there was actually a feud between Joanna and Adriana. They almost fist fought at this party. Okay. Back in the day, Girls Gone Wild. Okay. I forget what that owner's name. Whenever I tell this story, I always say I can never. It's Joe something. I think he's like wanted in the United States. I don't even think he's allowed to come back here. But he ran in the circle. I told you they ran with like the rich and the parties, and Marisol Patton. She was hanging with with people like Versace and models like Madonna. Okay, Marisol Patton's mother was I don't want to say like a spiritual guide, but I would say that had spiritual gifts that people would call on her. And she made a lot of money doing that. And she must have been very good at it. And that was literally her job. And like, again, if you're, if Versace, Madonna, like Marisol lived a very wild life, I'm sure, but probably very good life in Miami in the 80s. Anna brings that up also because she says that all of them, did a lot of the extracurricular activities of skiing in the 80s. We already knew that, right? Because we knew that Alexia's husband had been incarcerated over it. So let's see what this brings up for us. Ooh. New Jersey. We always come back to New Jersey. Oh, bye, Yo-Yo. I'll see you later. Joanna's getting a divorce? Damn, Alan. Thank you so much, Yo-Yo. Make sure that you guys hit that like button, please. This is Albert Manzo's father, Tiny Manzo. We already know that he was by the mob. One of my old co-workers worked at the brownstone probably 20 years ago, and some guy wandered in while the Manzos were having a party and called them trash. He said he was up in the attic where there was a window with another busboy, and they saw a group of guys take the guy out back and break his leg. Obviously, no way to tell if the story is true because it's hearsay, but I believe it. He was 16 at the time, went home, and never went back to work there again. Whoa. Oh my. That got 700 likes, honey. Let's see. What else? It's like gangsta. And then Dina's ex attempted to put a hit on her. I think the fact, Tom, let's see. I'm not a Caroline fan or a defender by a long shot, but I do believe that once you marry in a family like the Manzos, i.e., a family with mob types, you learn pretty quick what the rules are. Like, she's probably been with Albert long enough to have seen or at least pieced together some really bad shit go down. And for her own self preservation and for her kids, she decided to put up and shut up. I suspect that her defense of Tommy Manzo, Dana's ex, came out of the same no one goes against the family instinct, not giving her a pass, but I assume her family situation makes things pretty complicated. I mean, I don't know. I think you would still want to be with your sister. This remains one of like the most controversial housewives things, even to this day. Let's see what this is. So this was just saying basically that Caroline's father-in-law was like, the biggest mob enforcer in New Jersey. And he was live to mob style in 1983. And he was affiliated with the Genovese crime family. And if you guys know, there were only five major mob crime families that came out of New Jersey and New York responsible for the mob. And the Genovese are one of those families. And if you go back and listen to Bo Dietl's interview with David Yonta from Behind the Velvet Rope, you will hear him also talk about the Genovese family and how much he loves them. And if you're interested in this, you can read a book by Jason Segel. It's called Undercover Cop. He was investigating the casino that allegedly Al Manzo's dad had been skimming. He had been skimming out of this casino, like, I don't know, on the outskirts. Essentially, I don't know if that's what it was, but anyways, this Mike Russell, he was a New Jersey State police officer. He was in the organized crime, and he basically brought down the Genovese family with 54 arrests and 48 convictions in 1986. So there was a book written. You can definitely look into that. I just want to see, what is this? An RHOM former producer reveals shocking behind the scenes secrets about housewives, exclusively originally published in Fame Horgas back in 2012. Well, this is the good stuff. This is all about the Melissa Gate. Remember when she runs into her old boss? Oh my Lord. Okay, do you guys remember in the Napa trip when Joe Giudice got that mystery phone call and he allegedly called Teresa the C word and everyone was accusing him of being a cheater? Well, what everyone didn't realize was, like, for whatever reason, production had made them stay another day in Napa, and it was after Hurricane Sandy had hit New Jersey and had hit the Jersey Shore, and they had homes that they rented, properties and stuff up in that area where the Hurricane Sandy hit. And he needed to take care of things. And he was being required to basically stay and finish taping because sometimes, you have to do that. So, let's see here. I don't really think there's too much more about that we haven't heard about, New Jersey during these years. But here's some photos. I might have to screenshot this. Kim Perella. Oh, thanks, Kat. Happy birthday, beautiful lady. In the image below is a tweet to Kat from one of Melissa's sisters, Kat Rodriguez, the producer. Okay. Full circle. Do you guys remember the rumors about the Gorgas having a producer that they were too close with, that originally had been giving them a good edit, and her name was allegedly Kat Rodriguez? And so this has a picture of her and the Gorgas, And here are some tweets between Melissa's sister and the producer. And it's Kim Perella, who is Melissa's sister, saying, "Oh, thanks, Kat Rodriguez. Big kisses back. Happy birthday, beautiful woman." At Dina Manzo, Posh Fashion Show will be filmed 9/27/2011. Fablina lunch party mid-October on the 11th. Kat Rodriguez butchered this season with her biased editing. People are commenting, "Boy, those producers really love her. Too bad they all get fired. Aha, too bad, Kat." Melissa Gorga posted this photo. "I'm at the PhD at Dream Hotel with my favorite RHONJ producers. Great night." December 4th, 2011. Can someone tell me when Melissa came on the show? Wow. So the party, guess who's at the party in 2011 in this photo at the Dream Hotel with their favorite RHONJ producers? You haven't even been on the show yet. How are they your favorite producers? And who is it? Kathy and Richie and Joe and Melissa. Because what? They weren't telling anyone else that they had signed up for the show. If you go back and watch, Kathy Wakili will even say, "Producers told us not to say anything. We followed their advice." That's the photo. You can't see it very good. I'm going to take a screenshot of it. Don't worry about it. It'll probably be everywhere tomorrow. 2011. Wow. That's crazy. So there was an interview, but I don't know who the interview was about or who was in the interview. So I don't want to go through all of it with you. I'll read through this, and then if it's anything is good, I will definitely come back and talk to you guys about it. But I am looking at some of it. This can't be too old because we're talking about, this says they're extremely tight with producers, talking about Joe and Melissa. One female producer who no longer works on the show allegedly would engage in inappropriate relationships with the two of them all the time. I just leave that to your imagination. Was the producer, so the questions, what, so the producer's name, Kat, I think, and ended up leaving the show because she was so involved in protecting Joe and Melissa. There were tons of rumors about her and how she did everything she could to protect them. Since she's no longer on the show, why are Joe and Melissa still being protected? If they've got these kinds of secrets, this could be huge ratings boost for Jersey. Also, there were rumors that Melissa and Joe made a video promising to take down Trey and Joe if they are put on the cast. Is that true? Thank you so much for doing this. What kind of skeletons are we talking here? They said, "I can't reveal much more because I want to keep my anonymity, and I also want to protect those who I am close with that may or may not have worked on the show for Siren or for Bravo." Recently, Joe Gorga was destroyed by the media and viewers for posting a fake home flip photo and pretending it was his work to promote his company and brand. Then he deleted the photo after the backlash. Any comment? She says, "He's a likable guy, very charming, but he's disingenuous. He would always complain about how he misses his life before the housewives and he hates fame." I believe that. Do you guys want to know why I believe that? Remember the season before Louis when Joe and Melissa were having problems and Joe is like kind of drunk and he's telling the men how fame is like the worst thing that can happen to somebody, and once you like get a desire for fame, like it's over. So he hates fame and he misses how Melissa used to be low maintenance, yet he's the first husband to always be ready for talking head, getting actively involved in the show to show for every Watch What Happens live taping, and Melissa does and speak to the press. Nothing wrong with any of that, but own it. Back in the day, production would call him Giuseppe, the sixth housewife behind his back. That sounds about right. Oh my. So yeah, I mean, basically, same thing we've always really heard. Like, this says, how does reality TV work? The first thing to realize is the term unscripted is a facade. We create formats, cast people based on character traits, and edit scenes to tell a powerful, intriguing tale. In short, we are storytellers. How do you tie things together on RHOBH? Producers must find creative ways to fill in the missing gaps of the stories, searching for footage that may have happened days or weeks apart that are about the same topic. Make sure you interview the participants thoroughly so that you can create a missing scene with interview bites and appropriate B roll footage. Find a scene that has many of the same emotional beats as the missing one and use an interview bites to shape it to be about other topic. Example, an argument about an ex-boyfriend and an argument about paying the check have many similarities. Looks of frustration, angry body language, and similar verbal sentiments. Why are you being so stubborn? If you remove all the references to paying the check and add interview bites about the ex-boyfriend, you'll be able to approximate the missing scene. We've heard housewives say this happens. Ethics note, we don't create scenes to trick people. Those gaps in the plot have to be filled to make the story complete. Oh, do I don't know that. Every time I select a location, develop a game, find a cast, look for appropriate music, it's always based on a story. She says, well, the question then is, how is producing different / similar to writing? She says, just like scripted television, writing and producing go hand in hand. The majority of my reality credits are for producing, not writing, but I'm always using my skills as a storyteller. Every time I select a location, develop a game, find a cast, look for an appropriate music, it's always based on a story. How will this affect the cast? Is it the setting the right mood? Will it help the audience understand what's going on? All of the same questions I ask myself when I write a script. The only difference is that the characters in the reality TV are being played. The only difference is that the character in the reality TVs are not being played by actors. Well, she says a lot of them are wannabe actors. And then this says, do you use Frankenbiting on RHOBH? That is an editing together individual words to make up an invented sentence. And the answer is crickets. She does not answer her question. So also note, the link to Attitudes Magazine is dead. The original interview was Attitudes Magazine, but it cannot be located. So either Andy Attitudes or Miss Andy killed it. If anyone can find the interview, kindly provide a link in the comments. Wowza. That's pretty crazy to say all of that. So what do y'all think? Make sure you guys leave a comment. It's Friday night. It's 11:20. We're still talking housewives. I hope that you guys all have a great night. I'm gonna go through some of this Reddit, and I'm probably gonna be posting this about Melissa in this photo. I gotta hurry up and do it because there's probably haters in the chat that are gonna. This will be like wiped. It'll be gone. I cannot believe these pictures. These are literally before Melissa came on the show. I feel like, and you can tell. She's like, Melissa, I love you. Again, December 5th, 2011. Guess who else Melissa Gorga was hanging out with in 2011? Kyle Richards. Makes sense, doesn't it? Does to me too. All right, guys. Well, make sure that you hit that like button. Subscribe to my new YouTube channel. Well, it's not this is my YouTube channel. I'm gonna be getting back in my podcast scheme of things, but you guys can check out my TikTok at HW Historian with the number 2. I post a lot of great content there. I also join Lisa. She is NYC Gal Out. I join her every Thursday for our HOBH recaps. So yeah. And you know, these Twitter people be talking about how they go live all the time. I'm a little scared to go live on Twitter. So comment if you guys are on Twitter and what you think of their lives. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a great Friday night. We have much more content coming for you. I just wanted to chat tonight. I love a live chat, and I hope you guys have a great night.